Hey parents, here's a thought. Instead of getting angry at teachers for saying that they won't out their students to their parents, why don't you create an environment safe enough for your kid to want to come out to you? Because we get a lot of anger whenever a teacher says, I will not out a student because that's not my place. But y'all don't seem to understand that that child doesn't feel safe in your home, and that's why they're not telling you that they're queer. And that's why they come to us, because they feel like we won't judge them and we will accept them. So maybe create a safe, loving, accepting environment and your kids will come out to you. Trust me, that is what we all want. We don't want kids to be coming out to us because that means that they don't have a safe place at home.
Okay, this was originally supposed to be like kind of like a haha lighthearted video, but I saw a few things while doing research for this video that I'm livid right now.
Mama, I know I'm a demon. It ain't nothing she could do but pray for me.
Okay, and I think it's been one thing when I'm talking about incidents that have been happening sort of throughout the country and overseas and stuff related to adults, but seeing the fact that this is really happening right in my backyard, in my school district, with children that are in our schools that my children are going to be going to, the schools next door where my nieces are going to be going to. This is here, this is happening, this is now.
There is a wrestling debate about this, the transgender in Chester County.
There probably is, and that's a Chester County decision.
Right. Correct, but you also said that our sports supervised by PIAA.
PIAA does not have a stance on transgender.
Okay, then as a board, can we somehow notify players and the parents if we are to play the team that may have?
It resorts back to the home district's decision.
I'm sorry.
No, I know you're
so
not.
you want us to be warned if there's a transgender student on another team?
On the other team, and parents have a determination whether or not they want their child to play against that team with a transgender player in it.
Nope, you cannot. If the home district makes the decision, you cannot tell another district you will not play against them. That is the home district.
No, I'm not saying the district. I'm saying a parent individually.
You can tell your child that you're not going to let them play against that student and not let them compete. As a parent, you just don't let them go to the game.
But how would the parents know? Who would notify them?
Well, how are we supposed to know?
If we play,
that's what I'm trying to get to.
So if you're playing,
what is the chain of commands, and how can parents be empowered?
You want schools to somehow report to some authority that they have transgender students on their sports teams. That's what you're asking.
No, we are.
I mean, that's what she's asking. I want to make sure that's understand.
No, you cannot tell opponents that they might be competing against a biological male. No, you cannot give females, girls, students the opportunity to opt out of putting themselves in danger to play against a biological male. Hell no, that would be a violation of that transgender male student's rights to dominate women's sports. What are you, nuts? You violate the privacy and the safety and the well-being of the transgender student who wants to compete against girls? No, you're not going to tell those girls. They're going to play against it whether they like it or not. Except we've done that before with Fallon Fox, and you know what it resulted in? It resulted in her opponent, who didn't know that she was a biological male, and that she was a military-trained man, and her opponent wound up with a fracture.
I'm asking the question. So you said, well, it's a local board decision, right?
Right, but that's
so. What about our parents that are here that actually would not want to expose their child?
They don't have to expose their child.
You have no right to that information. That's it. Basically, you, as a parent, you would have no right to that information from that other school. That's that child's responsibility. The same way if that child was diabetic, that child had leukemia, that child had cancer, that child's transgender, that child was had different sexual orientations. That's that child's parent's responsibility, that you would not have right to that information.
So the only way, let me understand it. So the only way the parent can protect that child, their own child, from being in the game is actually being at the game and pull them away.
This is already in motion in a way that it's like, even though I know that this has been going on and I've been talking about it, but seeing school names that I've grown up with, seeing school names that I know are a few minutes down the road being involved in perpetuating transgender ideology in a way that endangers the very sanctity of childhood, that violates the protective forces that we as parents and we as an educational community are supposed to have around our children. And you have these virtue signaling adults who have so fallen into this sort of warped intersection between reality and social media, where it's such a performative specter.
Okay, could I just get everyone's attention up front, please? Y'all are awesome, thank you. I'm going to be talking about something that's very important to me, so if we could just... the headphones, thank you. As you all know, I am a huge supporter of the LGBTQ+ community. I've made that abundantly clear, and throughout my years of teaching, I've been so fortunate to have many students feel comfortable and safe enough to come out to me. And these people have shown such courage and pride of who they are, and it made me realize that I want to show that to you. I want to show you it's okay to be who you are. It's okay to be proud about who you are. It's okay to be loud about who you are. Even if you can't do it right now, there's still hope for the future, right? So... sorry, I'm nervous. With that being said, I would just like to officially say that I am not only a supporter of the community, but I am in it. So this is me coming out to you.
The level of institutional capture and the level of just cultural, societal capture that's been happening on the main line. This is on the main line, and no one's standing up to this. No one's talking about it. If I need to go on April 25th, there's a Tredyffrin East Town School Board meeting at Valley Forge Middle School, and you better believe I will be the first person there, and I'm going to use every second of my 5 minutes time that I am allotted to speak. And I'm going to raise one of the number one most concerning things that I've read. There is a school policy that basically says that teachers are allowed to transition students behind the backs of parents. That they will meet privately with students and they will discuss what preferred pronouns they want to use, and they will begin socially transitioning the child. And they have taken it upon themselves that they can perform as judge, jury, and executioner when it comes to deciding the fitness of the parent and whether or not that parent has a legal right to be involved in medical and social decisions and educational decisions regarding that child. So based on this assumption that parents are going to be bigoted.
Thank you so much for coming in today, Mr. and Mrs. Kyle. It's very nice to see you. We can have a seat and get started. No, there's nothing wrong with Alex's grades. The purpose of this parent-teacher conference is because Alex wanted to share something with you guys and wanted me to be here for support. So, you can go ahead. Excuse me, Mr. Kyle. Please do not call your child that name. It's extremely inappropriate and disrespectful. Alex is trying to share something really special with you guys, and it's a really big deal. No, Mrs. Kyle, I'm here for support, which is something that we were both hoping you guys would be able to give Alex. Okay, you know what? I think that's it for today. Alex, are you going to stay after school for my writing club? Okay, thank you. Then that's all. Thank you very much for coming in. It's nice to see you again. Yep. I'm so sorry.
Tell me that wasn't the cringiest shit you've ever seen in your life. And not only that, that should be an advertisement as to why this teacher should never work at any school district or around children ever again. And that parents who don't necessarily believe that affirmative care is appropriate or healthy for a child who might be gender confused or gender influenced, let's be clear, because not all these kids are truly gender confused. Gender is a fake construct. And when you start putting all these ideas, these confusing identities.
How many genders are there? You can't put a number on the number of genders because everyone uses different words to classify themselves.
I would disagree. That's where it changed my mind. I'm not convinced that anyone can just use any classification for themselves for their gender.
It always seems like no matter how many times we explain this, conservatives can never wrap their heads around sex and gender. So I'll hold your hand like the child that you are. Your sex is like the wee-wee and the milkies, okay? Your gender, on the other hand, is socially constructed. What a man is to one person may be different to another person. Like, some people in the older generation say that men don't cry, while some in this generation say that they do. And since it's subjective, that means someone who is born as a female can identify as a man, or someone who was born a male can identify as a woman. And one more thing before you follow, if you think that this is unscientific, just know that the scientific community disagrees with you.
How many genders are there?
I can't.
Well, you heard it here first, guys. If you cry, you're not a man. And I don't just mean like rhetorically the way that they'd say it in the past, like, come on, you're not being a man. No, like you're literally not a man. You're a female with a vagina and you should go put this tampon in. Stop being a pussy, right? How aggressive is this shit? Holy fucking shit. Into children's heads where before those were just byproducts of personality differences. Now, if you have a certain personality, you might have a whole different gender. Kids are very suggestible. It is confusing. They make it align with, natural parts of growing up. With, well, I don't feel totally comfortable in my body during puberty. Well, that must mean that I am transgender. Of course, these kids are confused. Then they're meeting with kids privately. Kids are going on TikTok, seeing all the praise, all of the love, all of the welcoming, all of the just individual attention that people get when they come out as trans. So they're going and they're talking to teachers and they're trying, as we know at this age, kids are trying on things for size. They're trying on different identities. And when they're being told that the gender identity is different from sexuality, which is different from presentation, which is different from biology, and it's all just a bunch of mix and match, and it's dress up and it's play.
I'll get you a Lamburger, some French fries.
The goal of the transition closet,
it rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again,
is for our students to be able to wear the clothes that their parents approve of, come to school, and then swap out into the clothes that fit who they truly are.
So the goal of the transition closet is to hide shit from the parents. And then these same people wonder why there's a bill in Florida preventing the
I use the idea that this is like Superman changing in a phone booth. But that idea actually goes a lot further than that, because Superman isn't Clark Kent. Clark Kent.
Now, isn't that cute? Just like a superhero, you come in, wear the clothes your parents bought for you, the gender they understand you to be. You go to school, switch out. But then when you leave school, you switch back because you don't want your parents to know that you got this gentleman, we'll call it, at school educating young impressionable minds.
Is actually the disguise. And when Clark Kent goes into the phone booth,
yes you will, precious, you will get the hose.
He transforms into Superman, who's really just who he truly is, Kal-El.
Here's where these people get confused. They're using their own personal bias to put on the kids so that they feel better about their lifestyle. That's what we got here. But what they don't care about is the psychological damage it does to kids being this confused when they're 4 or 5 years old. They don't give a shit about the psychological damage. They care about the sacrament to the ABC divided by 4 mafia. That's it.
This gives our trans students the opportunity to be the superheroes that we know they are.
I was a creative kid who was constantly experimenting with who I was and how I wanted to present myself as a person. And this is really happening. This is really happening. The level of grooming that is going on in schools, and the problem is that people don't know what is happening. We are being told that it is just about, acceptance and loving children for who they are. How is telling a child that they need to medicalize, take drugs, get life-altering surgeries, accepting our children for who they are? How is changing a child's name behind their parents' back stripping the sense of security and unity within a family, accepting and affirming who the child is, after you've already implanted these gender ideas and notions that are predictably manifesting in the child.
National Pronouns Day. I'm a non-binary elementary school teacher, so here's how I talk to my students about pronouns and such. Hi, my name is Mix K. It's mix. So kind of like cookie mix or mixing bowl, that sort of thing. That's how it's pronounced. That is my name. That is the name that I'm comfortable with. It is the name that makes me happy, and I would like it if you referred to me as such. See, I'm not a Mr. or a Miss, so I go by Mix because that's what makes me happy. Now, you have a name that you like to be called other than the name that's on the paper, right? It's the same thing for me. I have a name that I prefer to be called, and that's the one that you're going to use for me, okay? Now, I don't consider myself to be a boy or a girl. I just see myself as a person. So that's why I go by Mix. So I'm actually non-binary. I'm not really comfortable with feminine terms being used for me. If you can find some alternatives, that would be great. My pronouns are they, them, and she, her.
Didn't you literally just say you weren't comfortable having feminine pronouns being applied to you or whatever it is that you said? And then you go on to say that my pronouns are they, them, and she, her. Thank you, RouXX. Fucking Christ.
Thank you so much for asking. What are yours? Talking about gender is not something that's out of the realm for children. Honestly, the most understanding people when it comes to my identity have been the students that I work with. So it's important to be yourself, because being openly you is probably the most important thing you can do for the kids of this generation. Hi!
There is a reason that transgender identity is surging amongst young kids. There's a reason for that. When we have a direct correlation in these real performative TikTok stories. There is a trend on TikTok right now where it's teachers role playing what they would do if one of their students came out to them as transgender. And they're like, hey bud, what's up? Oh, you're trans. That's great. Wow. Oh my gosh.
Hey chickadees, so what's up? What do you want to talk about? Yeah, the other student should be gone. What's up? Are you okay? You're trans? Oh, honey, I'm so proud of you. Of course I am. Oh, come here. Oh, don't cry. You're okay. You're okay. Have you told anyone else? No, not yet? Well, this is an amazing first step in the right direction. You're finally becoming who you're meant to be. And we'll try to make it as easy as we can for you here, okay? We can get your name changed on the attendance in the directory. Have you told your parents? That must be so scary. But we're here for you, okay? I'm here for you. It'll be okay, I promise. We'll make it through.
What is she wearing? I hope to God that she never wears that at school. She needs to button up her shirt. And yes, listen, I have cleavage and all that sort of shit. I'm not a fucking school teacher. Okay? Like, if I was at school entrusted with other people's children, I'd have a whole different sort of uniform on. Kids are getting love bombed. Teachers are literally saying, hey, I'm going to take you and we're going to have this kind of one-on-one meeting and then I'm going to love bomb you. And then it's going to be, oh, wow, now I understand why you've been going through difficult things, or maybe you haven't been as successful as you want to be, or maybe, now we're going to give you all this love and individualized attention.
Yeah, so that's how I've been. How have you been? What's going on with you? Yeah. Any news? Oh, you're changing your name. What's your new name? Wow, nice.
And notice the little smile, the little like, oh, wow, huh? And not one question like, there's something else going on. Do we need to look at everything? It's just like, oh, okay, great. Well, that's it. Let's just start making all the changes immediately. You said the word, let's go.
Do you have new pronouns? Okay, very cool. I like that. Good for you.
And another thing to consider is that children very much seek approval from the adults in their lives. The queer teacher is giving all the attention to the queer kids or is always talking about that as such an important facet of their identity. Do you think that some kids might want to be in that teacher's favor and get attention?
You know, there's a world of messages coming at us all the time telling us we're he, him, or she, her, and what our name is. And, you know, it takes a lot of personal fortitude to figure out otherwise. I'm really proud of you. We need to go celebrate. Let's go get a sundae. You want to do that? All right, let's go.
We're going to focus on you. We're going to come up with a real individualized curriculum plan, and we're going to call together meetings.
Here's some things my students have said / done since I came out and changed my teacher name. Hi, Mix K. Can I talk to you when you're free? Yeah, of course, Sunshine. What's up? I just wanted to tell you something. Yeah, of course, sweetheart. You can tell me anything. What is it? Sunshine, thank you so much for trusting me with this. Have you told anyone else? No, no one else. Well, I'm honored that you trust me with this, especially the first one to be trusted with this. This is your business. No one else has to know. I will not tell anyone, obviously, but it's not always easy, but just know that there is support out there. There are other people, and you will always have a support system in me, okay? Okay. Fast forward a few weeks.
Now that we've completed the grooming, we now have the rapid onset gender dysphoria.
Mix K, me and this person need to talk to you real quick, okay? Yeah, of course. I'm free right now. So, you can tell them. Go ahead. I think... Oh my gosh! Thank you so much for telling me. Yeah, I can't tell my parents. That is your business, no one else's. You have the right to decide who gets to know when, okay? Just know you will always have a safe space with me. Both of you. I told you. Yeah, you're right.
And what is most sinister is that during these meetings, there is an air of, well, you know, let's be careful about telling the parents because, you know, as we know, a lot of these parents are bigots and it might not go so well. So we want to protect kids from these potentially bigoted parents.
I'm giving this dude one last chance to get the fucking point. We don't like this. My community specifically does not like this. You want to know why personally I don't like this? Because when it's the parents' problem, that's how you get homophobic kids. That's how you get kids like me with internalized homophobia until they're like 18 or 19 because they finally started going to fucking therapy. If my parents had their way, I wouldn't know shit about the gay community or my own legitimate sexual identity. I came out to them when I was 16. You want to know what they told me? They told me I was going to unalive myself because of this. I was an already depressed teenager. So when you say it's the parents' problem, understand that the parents are not going to make the best decision. They're not going to educate their kids. If it weren't for public school, I wouldn't know shit about the gay community. Unless it's a private school, parents need to stay the fuck out of class.
It might be horrible. And again, Vanessa Vokey talked about in Psychology Today where it is children who are rejecting parents and not the other way around.
Hi, my name's Vanessa Vokey. I'm a photographer, an artist, and a sewist from Canada. And today I'm going to be making a video reading an article from Psychology Today that was actually removed, talking about trans kids and their relationship with their families. So the article was published today, November 20th, 2020, and it was written by Tina Traster. Parents who detected signs of gender dysphoria in their very young or prepubescent children might feel more comfortable in accepting that their child really has been disordered for a long time. But a different cohort, those grappling with a sudden coming out as trans at 13, 14, even through their 20s, may be skeptical. That skepticism guided a study done by researcher Dr. Lisa Littman, who surveyed the parents of a group of teenage girls who had recently come out as trans. Littman's groundbreaking but controversial research focused on feedback from parents who largely believed that their daughter's decision to become trans came out of nowhere or appeared to be related to social contagion within a friend group. Lippman coined the term rapid onset gender dysphoria to describe this phenomenon. Her findings may be threatening to those who believe any person who declares themselves as trans should be affirmed as such and should have access to any medical care to achieve transition. This may often be the critical junction where tension escalates between trans children and parents. While some skeptical parents can support or at least participate in pronoun changes, short haircuts, new manners of dress, and name changing, medical intervention can raise the bar for some.
And now that fear is being stoked and implanted by parent or by teachers. So maybe there's some underlying, familial dynamics going on, and now the child is able to kind of cling to this notion, well, it's gender identity, and that's why it's because they're rejecting me, not because there's other stressors and issues happening in that family. It's suddenly now gender identity gets to be the big cloak when we're not really dealing with what's really going on with that child. When you focus on affirmative care, you strip the ability for people, for professionals, for the community, for the parents, and even for that child to get to the true root of what's going on. You put on this just fake veneer of a reason, a solution. It's a scapegoat. This is not real. Gender is a fucking bullshit construct. Gender has to do with creating roles and expectations for males and females. Women's roles is performative femininity. Wearing makeup, wearing, special pretty clothes and acting cutesy and helpless. These are roles that are reinforced to make men seem more masculine in comparison. The more helpless that women behave and that, they're all like cutesy, it makes men feel stronger and more useful. These are constructs. Being a woman is not about who performs femininity best. She and he are pronouns to denote biological sex differences. That's it. It tells nothing about personality. Period.
Hey Mom, thanks for sitting down with me. So what I wanted to tell you is that I'm trans. No, you're not. I will put up with a lot of shit from you. But this I will not put up with. You were born a girl, you're gonna stay a girl. There is no way that trans exists. You're a girl. I love you. And I will do whatever it takes to support you. It took a lot of guts to tell me that, and I am honored and grateful that you trusted me with that information. It's okay to be worried. It's okay to be confused. It's okay to feel scared. It's not okay to reject your kid. It's not okay to tell them that their feelings about themselves are invalid. You get one chance.
The following is from a civil rights attorney in Chester County, the county that I live in Pennsylvania, complaining that members of a school board in a local school district were asking questions about a transgender policy regarding, well, let's take a look.
So last week, the members of my old school board in Olney Valley, Pennsylvania decided that it was up for debate whether they, as a public school, had to adhere to federal and state civil rights requirements. As if that was just like an option that they could, decide not to take.
The following is from a civil rights attorney in Chester County, the county that I live in.